If you've heard me talk about sales in the janitorial industry for very long, you've probably heard me talk about the need to get larger accounts. So larger accounts help push us onto that next plateau in our growth phase. Any of us that start out in the industry, we typically start out with smaller accounts. But as any of you will probably realize, over time, a lot of small accounts equals a lot of headache. And it can be difficult to grow with a lot of small accounts. So what do we do to grow and to land some of these larger accounts? And just to help you with a frame of reference here, if you're a company that's maybe less than $500,000, a large account for you may be $3,000 to $5,000 or $6,000 a month. And if you're a company that's $1 million or more in revenue, a large account may be $10,000 a month or more. So how do we go about landing some of these? I know a lot of you will have trepidation or a little bit of concern about, is this something that I can even land? Can I get an account that's a big account? Am I a big enough of a company? Am I competent enough to be able to land a large account? Well, let me give you 3 tips or ways that you can go about trying to land some larger accounts that will give you a good leg up and help you be more successful. So number 1, you need to be able to identify the large accounts. So a large account is typically going to be comprised of 300 or more people or users in the facility. And this usually constitutes an amount of cleaning that would justify it as a larger account. So number 2, you need to talk and act like you're a larger or more competent company than you are. So let me explain what I mean by that. I'm not encouraging you to be deceptive or to lie or fabricate who you are as a company. But what I mean by that is to start using the lingo that a larger company would use. And this may sound silly or trivial, but when you go into a pre-bid meeting or an RFP meeting, or you're just going in to meet a prospective customer, you want to use language that other larger companies are using. So you don't want to stand out as this small mom and pop company. Even though you may be that at this stage, you don't have to be trapped in that if you don't want to be. So instead of talking about Joe who does the floor work or my wife who handles the books, you may refer to our floor crew or our floor team or our accounting department or our HR department. And so just little subtle things like this help project an image that would maybe more accurately describe the company you are growing into. So just be mindful of the way you present yourself, from the way that you dress to the way that you talk to the things that you write in an email and the way your signature is on your email page and your website. Just have the impression that you're a peer with these other larger companies. And then as that rolls into your marketing material and your proposals that you submit, you want to make sure that those things look professional as well, so that when the customer is looking at 2 different proposals and they're looking at them side by side, they're not gonna be able to tell a difference in terms of the content, which company is smaller. So at that point, you're not gonna be disqualified by some preconceived notion they have about you. So presenting yourself as the kind of company you're growing into can help you get a leg up in landing some of these larger accounts. And then lastly, once you've got your foot in the door and the customer sees you as someone they can have confidence in and trust, at this point you can use your smallness to your advantage. So I've often said to prospective customers over the years that when we get into a situation and I know my competitors are larger than me, but we have a seat at the table and our prices are comparable, and I'll slide my card across the table, which has my cell phone number on it, and I'll tell them that if there's any concerns or questions, they can reach out to me as the owner of the company. And that this account, they will become one of our largest customers, which they may be our largest customer or our top 1, 2, or 3. And I'll tell them that they're gonna get a level of attention from us that they would not get from anybody else, because this account is a really big deal for us. And by doing that, I'm trying to ensure them that success will happen on this account. And that's worked many times for us. So if you'll use these things and apply these tips and these tools to landing larger accounts, I can promise you it's gonna help you get your foot in the door more and maybe help you land some of these accounts. And by landing these larger accounts, it's gonna help make your operation a little smoother, and it's gonna help get you to that next plateau that I know so many of you wanna get to.